Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to my channel, The Unpopular Party, hosted by me, Party Next Short. And today we are going to be talking about none other than Miss Gretchen CANCELED, aka Gretchen from And today we are going to be talking about none other than Gretchen, Big Gretch from Baddies Caribbean. She has stirred up a lot of controversy lately. So much so, she created some talking points for all of us. Okay, I need to make an isolated video on this incident so we can talk about it. So let's do that. Let's talk about it. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to this channel, especially if this is your first time seeing my face. Become a party goer. We're so close to hitting 60K people. Like, come on now. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support you guys send my way. And let's get into my thoughts.
I thought I knew you.
So let's talk about this whole debacle, especially if you don't know what's going on. Now, Gretchen is a new girl on Baddies Caribbean. And Baddies Caribbean, you know, this is the fifth installment to this Baddies series. So, of course, it's the typical stuff on Baddies. You know, they get into their house, they're trying to figure out their room, they're fighting, But in this one particular situation, Gretchen, she got into an altercation with a young woman named Meatball. After the security was holding her, she said the N-word.
Can't just be up in here saying, just don't say, no, I'm Puerto Rican. That don't matter, you're not black, you can't say. When I used the N-word, I was not being racist. It just came out because I just felt like I was being attacked. No, hey, listen to me. I understand too. I understand all that shit. No, you can't. No.
I'm not white. I'm not white. Let's get that clear.
I need to Google, can Puerto Ricans say, because I'm confused. I need to Google something real quick.
Google what?
Where Puerto Ricans come from?
Some are black, but she's not black Puerto Rican. She's not a black Puerto Rican. There are black Puerto Ricans, but she's not a black Puerto
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
She's not black.
Now, she may not have said it in a quote-unquote derogatory way. She may have said it in a way where nowadays when people get mad, it's in this, in that. However, she did say it around some people who are black, and she said it around some people who take offense to that, such as Jayla. And with her being a non-black woman, with her being a Puerto Rican woman, people didn't kind of like that she did that.
You're saying the N-word. Why do you feel like it's okay for you to say that?
You know, I feel like where I come from, you know, I hang around a lot of African Americans, Puerto Rican, Latins, you know, different type of diversities, and I feel like, you know, how I said it and how I meant it was not how a lot of people, you know, took it, portrayed it, so that was just pretty much that.
But I noticed it started to open up a big thing of conversation on the internet. A lot of people was mixed. Some people felt like, well, Puerto Ricans can say the N-word, you know, they're one of us, but some people saying, no, if you're not a black person, you cannot say that word. And I figured I should get on my platform, The Unpopular Party, and give my somewhat unpopular opinion. Shall we? Okay, dive in. And if you're new here, stick with me. I promise it's gonna all come back into one. When it comes down to Gretchen CANCELED, she should not say the N-word, because when I see her, I don't see a black woman. You know, let they say it, that's supposed to be a word that's ours. It's only supposed to be a word that's thrown in our community. When I see her, unfortunately, she does not reflect that, but the word of the day today is community. Because I can guarantee you, from her community that she's from and her background, she probably has been in spaces where she was given a pass to say is simply being a Puerto Rican woman. Wherever she grew up, whether she grew up around black people, whether she grew up around Puerto Rican people, whether she grew up around Afro-Latina people, whoever she has been around has probably made her feel comfortable to say they were, and nobody better I. And what happens with that, it sets up a person for when they do get around people who don't play that. As you can see, you get slapped in the face. But when you really start to think about it, she's not the first, nor is she the last to be walking around saying that word because of this blurred line. And this is just my honest opinion. I can't sugarcoat it. When you think about it, a lot of these racially ambiguous Dominican people, they get passes to say the N-word by other black people or people within their own. They get passes by a lot of black people or people who barely made it due to the 1% rule to say the N-word because they're one of us. She can pass, she can go. I've seen that conversation before and it always makes me cringe. To paint a picture for you real quick, just think about it. If she is a Puerto Rican person and she's out with some Afro-Latino people and she's chilling around them and she's like, man, this got on my nerves today. 9 times out of 10, do you think they're really gonna stop her? No, because she's one of them and that's where that tricky blurred line starts to come into effect. Society's main problem was letting the N-word go from a slur to slang. I'm black myself and I don't even like using the N-word because I was always taught like that's a nasty word. Like my parents were always instilling me like, don't use that word. A lot of our ancestors before they was killed, what were they referred to? An N-word. And that's like the last thing they heard as they was leaving this earth. There's a great article on this matter too that I want to reference as well, and it's called If You Truly Knew What the N-Word Meant to Our Ancestors, You Never Used It. It talks about how it was used in and still can be used to make us hate ourselves. A word that has been around since slavery day to make us feel less and kind of like let us know our place in their world, in the society. Also talks about how the slave masters, like they had it down to a science to continue to use this word to make them feel like an object, and it will stick with them. I will link the article in the description box below. So they fought so hard for the freedom to break away from that terminology and to release us from that word, but now it's back into society because us as black people want to make it our own. You know, to be fair, that hard ER, some people argue that's where the racism come into effect, and then the GA, that's like, you know, slang. And that's where the movement come into play. We're gonna make it our own. We're gonna bring the power back to it. Cool. Might not agree, but cool. You know, it's its own thing now. But is that mission really succeeding? If not, everybody's gonna think the same. If it's still that sticky gray area about who should say, who should not, should it just goes back to the thing like nobody should say it? Because I tell people all the time, you can't go around expecting that your moral compass is the same as everybody else. You can't expect people to get common sense because sometimes they just don't. And you saw with Gretchen when everybody was ganging up on her and they was like, listen, she was like, I don't care.
Can't not go.
The unfortunate truth, some people do feel like that. They don't care. She didn't care. This is something in her mind. I've been saying this my whole life. Nobody has an issue with it. Y'all trying to make an issue out of it with me. Now, granted, it's cause and effect for every action, but she could very well be after that situation be like, I still don't care. And just to play devil's advocate for 2 seconds, right? How can we fault her? How can we fault her when the N-word has become something that's so glamorized now? It's like everywhere. It's in all the songs. It's slang word. Yeah, I want to be cool. It's so popular to the point people are infatuated by it. Like, yeah, I want to be like me and my ends. That's why I always say, how can we say it's just our thing when it has such a big crossover rate? Put a pin in that. Think about it. You would never hear any other race or religion group take an old slur and try to reuse it in a slang way. Like, think about a Hispanic person, an Asian person, a Jewish person. Just research some of the slurs that's associated with them. You would never be caught trying to make their slurs trend. Matter of fact, go into one of their neighborhoods and say a type of slur like that, you will be canceled in a heartbeat. Even in the gay community and the F word, like canceled like that. But the N word is something that has such a crossover rate into the mainstream media. And even pop culture, where one should have the common sense who's not black. You would think they would have the common sense to not say it.
Give me heebie-jeebies.
But then you start to see people, if I'm a non-black person, you start to see people say, and they're starting to think, well, that person looks like me, and they get a chance to say it. Follow me. That person looks like me, and they get to say it. Do I get a pass too? This is about to be a very unpopular statement I'm about to make, but Cardi B. Every song Cardi B got out is in this. And technically speaking, Cardi B is not a black woman.
Oh, that's no.
In the sense that, you know what I mean? Like, what I'm saying.
And I know that's about to create a lot of uproar. Just follow me. But when I see Cardi B and I see her family and I see her parent, I'm not seeing nobody black, and then I'm seeing how she refers to herself as a Hispanic woman and talk about black people in a third person aspect.
So I noticed that like in your music and in your conversation, you use the N-word a lot.
Yeah.
Latinos using the N-word and so forth like that. Like, what's your approach to that?
It's something that like is like a lingo. Like, even if I want to stop saying it, I really can't stop saying it. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it seems like it's something that is so normal, which is bad, but like it is what it is. But it's like, where do them Spanish people came from? Where them Latina people came from? They mixed people, you know. I have dated guys that they're black, and they have told me like, I don't date black girls. And it's like, I be telling them, but you're black, but your mom is black. You don't think that's weird? And then they tell me, well, you don't date Spanish guys, right? And I say, no, I don't. I date black guys. And it's like, so it's a preference thing.
It's like, how can you expect me to believe this is a black woman? But she gets the privilege to say the N-word under the realms of Afro-Latina. Well, here's where the problem comes into effect. If Cardi B, if she is an Afro-Latina woman, let's just go with that, right? If she's around other Puerto Rican and Hispanic people and hear them slip up and say the N-word, how quick do you think she is to correct them? How quick would she be to tell them, no, you can't say that? Sometimes slim to none, because she relate more to them people. And let's just say Cardi B be like, no, okay, well, take that same situation and apply it to just a random person in New Mexico. It's that trickle-down effect. And the Afro-Latina people giving passes is how you end up with situations like Gretchen. And not to be biased, there's other people we can mention besides Cardi B, because I remember 6ix9ine. Now, when 6ix9ine came into the industry, he was saying the N-word every other chance he got. Now, that caused backlash. People was mad at him saying that he cannot say the N-word, and he still said it. He was just like, I don't care.
Mexicans should not be using the word.
Bro, who gonna stop me? Who? Like, that's, I can see those comments all the time. Who? It's my vocabulary, is the way I talk. Y'all all from New York. You go to school, you probably went to school around. How many Spanish kids walk around like, hey, Everybody
That's why they
Everybody
never-
does.
I'm like,
Don't
Fat
make
Joe,
it
man.
People cause the storm with 6ix9ine, but technically speaking, 6ix9ine background and Cardi B background, they're more similar than it is different, but one person get pressed and the other don't. That's for that tricky blurred line effect coming to a play. People pick and choose who they want to defend and go against. Yeah, even J-Lo tried to pull that one time. And guess what? Ja Rule defended her because he wrote that line for that song, I'm Real. But, you know, she had got some backlash. He defended her, though, because he had the same ideology that a lot of people have. You know, black people, Dominican, Puerto Rican, we're all in the same boat. Why can't she say it?
Reunited with J-Lo. I remember when, was it I'm Real? Yeah. Came out, and she used the N-word in the song, and everyone was oh my God over that. Yeah. You were on that song.
I wrote it.
You wrote the song.
Yeah.
So you wrote that line for her.
Absolutely.
Was there like a sit down like, I'm not sure if I should say this line or not?
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, it's kind of a unwritten thing that Spanish and Puerto Ricans and niggas, and we're all kind of in the same family, and she, you know, so it's like, why can't she say it?
And that ideology is how a lot of people think, and that's how a lot of people get caught up with pastors. But I mean, technically speaking, J-Lo ain't say that. Ashanti said it. Ooh. But no, like even Fat Joe even had to answer, like, you know, why he felt like he could say it, and this was his response.
About using the N-word and everything. But like talking to you several times, like a couple of times, like you have always really like, you're a part of the culture, you're one of us, you consider it, like when you refer to us, like when you're talking about Will Smith, you said he's us, what we got. So like you, because
you know, people grew up, you know, I think people, that's an interesting question, but I think people try to rewrite history now.
Yeah.
Right? So now you got young kids who found knowledge itself. They got a right to feel the way they feel because people mistreated black people, enslaved them for 400 years and all that. And they don't know no better. They reading their history or they making their things together. So they don't realize that Fat Joe grew up in the 99.9% black neighborhood, looking like a beetle, right? So it's not, what I'm trying to tell you is that it's not even, it wasn't even my choice. When I was in kindergarten, before kindergarten, they were saying, what's up, Fat Joe? What's good? This. It was never even my choice.
Yeah.
Now that we're grown and we all these years later, we can think about it, wow, it's a bad word. But where I grew up, it was always used out of love.
Yeah.
Yes. And so, unfortunately, you know, I grew up in this place where we use it like water. It's like, it's like, what do you want me to do? It's like, this is what I've been called my whole life. I don't know no different. Have I been trying to like slow it up and check myself just because I am a OG? You know, it's not because that, it's just, I just want to present myself more properly as I get older.
All of those previous thought processes, how you end up with a girl like Gretchen, because that's where the word of the day come into effect. Communities. Depending on your community, people will give you a pass. Saw that guy in the live. He told Fat Joe, you one of us. You do a lot for the culture. Things like that, certain ideology, like that's how you end up with situations like that. And people, communities, like a lot of people saying like people wouldn't understand the dynamic between, you know, black people in New York. Well, if you argue that, you come into a situation like this with Gretchen, because Gretchen's from Tampa. You come into a situation which is like, it's the same thing, different area. I even had to cover this situation on Johnson's Cabaret when Diamond called Amber the N-word, and it was the same thing. Diamond didn't look like Amber, and Amber felt offended. Let's just roll the clip again.
That's not cool. You don't look like me. You don't look like me. I said, like, girl, you're fighting anything to cancel me out. Like, you're running out of anything to tell Jocelyn. Like, you're like, what else? Jocelyn, she says a lot. Like, girl, if you was ever offended, you would have corrected me the same day. Because, bitch, this is how I talk. You're not going to educate me.
Real quick, sidebar. While I'm going to look up this clip and I'm typing in Johnson's Cabaret, Black Diamond says the N-word, and I'm like, okay, I'm trying to find some clip and just find like other related things that can help my claim. While I'm the first person to pop up, I'm like, dang, all of it But I guess we will go and see, you know, since I am a first source, I guess we can go back and see old previous YouTube clips of what I said on this situation when it first happened. We can do like a little flashback. When it comes to people saying the N-word wholeheartedly, I feel like nobody should say it, because when you actually think about the history of saying it, our black ancestors were slaves. And the last thing they heard before they died was a white man calling them a or with the hard ER. I don't really hold it within my vocabulary because it just feels so cringy knowing the history saying it. However, within black people, of course, in our community, we don't say it. You're gonna have some friends, what up, you know, stuff like that. It's just within our community. If you not black, just don't say it. A lot of people, they give Puerto Ricans and Mexican people a pass. Simply because, you know, either they grew up around black people or black people give them a pass because they basically black themselves. I would prefer them not to say it. You know, some have grown up around black people. They still don't know black people's struggle, black people's history. It goes way deeper than that. I'm not gonna break my neck snapping at everybody, especially when society has conditioned it for everybody to say. If you look at some famous Puerto Rican people within television and music and stuff like that, it's in their vocabulary. They say it on a day-to-day basis. And society like pick and choose who they want to have an issue who say it. So I can't control everybody that say it. I would like for them not to say it. If you're gonna say it around me, excuse yourself, because I'm just looking at you as ignorant. And I'm gonna just cut ties and distance myself from it. That's just what it is. But I get people that get upset by it because it's a valid thing to be upset about, especially being someone black. Even Biggie, when Biggie first came onto the scene, people was trying to be like, can she say the word? And that's when she was like, I'm Afro-Latina. Listen, as I'm discussing, we're seeing these lines keep getting blurred. The lines have been blurred, and we're only talking about one subgroup. And my main thing is this is supposed to be a word that's supposed to be our own, right? But you allow passes to so many people that don't even live a black experience to say it just for aesthetic purposes. And I'm just keeping it real. It's so many like full-fledged black people that don't even say it, but I'm seeing non-black people. Oh, I just saw a video of two Asians arguing with each other. It was in this. It's like other races, other people saying more than the black people. And it's like so many people get the best of both worlds. They don't look black. They don't go through a black experience. Yet because my daddy, cousin, sister, brother, auntie was black, I got a little bit in me and I can say the word now. IDK, that's why I feel like nobody should say the word in general, because it's not slang. It's a slur. And when I got done seeing so many people go back and forth, it's like, ask yourself, what are we fighting for? We're fighting to say a word that has so much trauma attached to it. We're putting so much energy and fight into who should say it, when the energy and fight should be, we should not say it. But who am I? That's why some people, they get so drained by the topic. It's like, what can I say? Because y'all gonna give a pass to who y'all want to give a pass to. And I'm not excusing Gretchen. I need to put emphasis on that, because her experience that happened, that it's a reality check that she just had to, it's like a kid event. That's a reality check. You eventually meet a black person who don't play that. You eventually meet a black person who be like, I don't know nothing about your upbringing. You cannot say that. You do not reflect me. You're not a black person. And with Jayla, she's always been like that.
Right, and you can't say that's what the it comes down to. Bitch, you are right, and you cannot say, and the next time you say I'm out of you, and what the you gonna do, bitch?
But I don't give a if you got a slither of melanin in you, if your mama not black and your daddy not black, if you come out your mouth and ever decide to call me a nigga or anybody else on this cast, I'm gonna make you swallow your mother teeth. And I want God and my mother ancestors to take me out this bitch right now if I'm lying. Period.
So, in conclusion, multiple things can be true at once. Gretchen was wrong. She shouldn't have said that. But there are some people who feel like I'm a product of my environment, so I get a pass. The community has to do better on just giving anybody a pass. And Jayla ain't beat her up. Jayla, she did scrub her, okay? So if I had to pick a hand and raise, I would have raised Jayla, because you got her with her. Yes, aside, Gretchen was kind of I know I should say that. Gretchen ain't like win the fight, but I wouldn't just be like she got an ass whoop, because she was hard on that. But I'm not saying it in a bad way. I never was one to consider Jayla a fighter anyway, so that's my thing. But anyways, I could be wrong. Sound off in the comment section below. What do you think? How do we feel about this whole debacle of Engay on Zeus Network? Do you feel like Gretchen was wrong and she shouldn't have said that word? Or do you feel like Jayla was overdoing it and Puerto Ricans have a pass to say the N-word? And how did you feel about my commentary in this video? Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? Put that all in the comment section below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!